We cut away from the White House Coronavirus Task Force briefing in order to hear from you. Now we've heard from, as I mentioned, the president's side and your side leading the House. When you look at these daily briefings at this point, do you recommend that public officials and citizens watch them to get information, or do you think it is better to avoid watching them?
Well, people can do whatever they wish. I think that it would be important for the president to tell the truth and that the American people insist on the truth. Their lives and livelihoods depend on it. And I don't really watch them because every day the president is contradicting himself, either within the same presentation or from the day before. I'm fully in charge. I have full authority. Oh, it's up to the governors. Oh, they're following the guidelines. That's wrong. And then putting in these distractions. We need central command where we recognize this for the health challenge that it is and the economic challenge that it is and the relationship between the two. And again, the testing from the start, the shelter at home, so important, and the president being almost frivolous about that. Some in the Republican Party saying, well, people will die, but that's the lesser of two evils. I don't think we have to make that choice. And by the way, I don't think it is the lesser of two evils. So let us, really, we don't want this to be partisan, and I've hesitated to go to that path. As I said, 3 bills in March, all of them strongly bipartisan. But as long as the president is going to misrepresent the facts, to present falsehoods like it's a hoax, it's magically going to disappear, and not insist that we have what we need to protect our workers. You know, I'm an intelligence person for a long time in Congress. And intelligence and national security, one of the things that priorities that we have is any time we're at war, we have force protection. We want to protect our troops. President has said we're at war, we are, against a pandemic. But force protection isn't there because we did not protect our people who are on the front line, and we have to do better at that. Why should it be that a healthcare provider in a New York hospital who goes there, instead of being equipped with the gown, the mask, the gloves, the rest, is given a New York Yankees rain poncho as her protection, and that people have to go from patient to patient with actually medical debris on their hands and on their faces? Come on. Let's just do this right. Yeah. Let's put whatever's behind us for an after-action review later. But we cannot allow the same falsehoods to be the basis for our decisions as we go forward. We must insist upon the truth. The lives of the American people depend on it. Their livelihoods do, too. That is our priority. And small business is a vehicle to that.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.